Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. But with Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it. And if you can't live, if your fever is so bad, you have to take one because there's no alternative to that. Sadly, first question, what can you take instead? It's actually, there's not an alternative to that. And as you know, other of the medicines are absolutely proven bad. I mean, they've been proven bad with the aspirins and the Advils and others, right? And they've been proven bad.
Yeah, so now he's a medical doctor giving medical advice, apparently. So, Joe, give me your take on this link that he tried to create between Tylenol, and autism, and what the numbers or what the facts or the science actually tells us.
You know, I don't get agitated all that easily. But when I watched that press conference yesterday, it did it for me. Because it raised scientific illiteracy to lofty heights. When these two people, Kennedy and Trump, were there with spouting lie after lie after lie, it was really terrible. I mean, first of all, just the statistics that they quote about the incidence of autism was totally wrong. There was not 1 in 10,000 cases 20 years ago and 1 in hundreds of cases now. It's about 1 in 30 now. That was just completely wrong. Now, with the Tylenol business, first of all, there's a real issue with him going after Tylenol by Tylenol, the name, which is the trade name of acetaminophen. Acetaminophen is available in many, many forms. You can buy it generically. You can buy it as Adasol. There are many different versions. So it is totally irresponsible to pick on one particular brand when that isn't even what most people use. Most people buy acetaminophen in the pharmacy in the generic version. Anyway, the allegation that he said that it causes autism in children if their mother was taking acetaminophen during pregnancy. Statistically, this is just not so. There have been some studies that suggested a possible link, observational studies, but there are numerous studies that have not found any such link. But that isn't even the real issue here. The real issue was him saying that no pregnant woman should ever take Tylenol. Well, if you have a fever while you're pregnant and you have pains while you're pregnant, that is a risk to the fetus. You have to control that fever and you have to control that pain. And there really is no other drug that can be used at that time. The non-steroidal anti-inflammatories cannot be used during pregnancy. And acetaminophen can take away the fever and can control pain. Now, of course, it should not be used recklessly. It should be used on the advice of a physician. But the advice should come from a physician, not from Trump, who has zero scientific knowledge. This is really repugnant when you hear someone giving medical advice. He says, I think that no pregnant woman should ever take Tylenol. Who on earth are you to say that? You have zero background. I don't think that he could define what autism is. I would wager on that he could not give an explanation for what it is. And here he is giving this advice, which is going to be problematic for a lot of births, because there are going to be babies born with problems because their mothers refused to take Tylenol when they had a high fever or when they had some sort of pain. And then he also went on to say that children should not get the hepatitis B vaccine because it is only sexually transmitted, so it's not appropriate for children. This is absolutely wrong. It is just not true. Hepatitis B can be transmitted in various ways, and children can acquire it from a mother who is infected, which happens in many, many cases today because many women are not even aware that they're harboring the virus. And when you get vaccinated right after birth, it prevents the virus from going into action because you produce antibodies to it. So there is very, very good reason why children should get a vaccine for hepatitis B. And to say that hepatitis B is only transmitted sexually and therefore children don't need to be vaccinated is absolutely irresponsible drivel. But he has the pulpit. He's president of the U.S., and therefore people think that whatever he says must be so. Yeah. And then, of course, he went on this tirade against vaccines, that children are getting vaccines doses like what horses are getting. I mean, this is absolutely absurd. You know, he says they're getting 80 vaccines. No, they're not getting 80 vaccines. They're getting 6 vaccines. And then he goes on with saying that the vaccines should never be given once, that the MMR vaccine should be divided into doses. Well, this has been studied extensively by people who know what they are doing, experts in the field. And Trump is not someone who should be pontificating on when people should be getting vaccines. Neither is Kennedy, who also has zero background. So, I mean, the situation is absolutely outrageous. You know, that we are getting medical advice from two people who have zero scientific background.
We'll leave it at that, Joe. I think a lot of people agree. Let me move on and talk about what the other headline you had today, because I don't understand this. Nature is not benign. We've got about a minute and a half here. How natural substances can kill. Okay.
I was watching White Lotus. Did you see that series on TV? Yeah. It was very good. And you remember that the season 3 was all about a father who lost all his money, and then he decided to do away with his whole family.
Yeah.
And he was going to do this
by making a smoothie in the blender, right?
That's right. He was going to do this by using the seeds from the fruit that grows on what is called the suicide tree. It's also called the pong tree. And the fact is that this was scientifically sound, unlike what Trump says, because this does contain a very, very potent toxic substance, and it can indeed kill you. It's called cerberin, and it's a cardiac glycoside that will stop the heart from beating. And it is highly, highly potent. So they got the science right. It really could have killed everyone, but he changed his mind at the last minute, and just as they were going to drink the concoction that he had made with the kernels of this fruit, he knocked it out of their hands. So they never developed any kind of toxicity. But had they been poisoned by it, interesting enough, the only antidote is atropine, which is also a natural product. It comes from the belladonna plant. So here we have this interesting example of nature that can kill, but also nature that can cure. So amazing. Natural chemistry is very interesting.
The things you learn on this show. Dr. Joe Schwarcz. Joe, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron.
Take care.
Seasoned gamer or just video game curious? This Week in Gaming is the podcast for you. We break down the latest in the world of video games, from basics to beyond. The hottest gaming news, insight, and industry leaders and more, weekly. Join me, Naomi Kyle, and stay ahead of the game with all the latest updates, even if you're a total newbie. Stream This Week in Gaming on the free iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.